And it's Saturday night on Pirate Radio, which means I get a special guest in to play a selection of their favorite tunes for you right here on 94.3 Radio 1. And today I have the extremely talented and very beautiful Shahin Badar. Say hello to Shahin. Hi, Shahin.
Hi, Malini. It's such a pleasure to be on your show.
It's so nice to have you here. And of course, just to put into context for everyone who's thinking, that name sounds really familiar, tell us, where did you start out?
I started in Kuwait, but then I moved to London.
Okay.
And so that's where my whole music career started, really, in London.
All right, and I'm sure a lot of people will recognize you from this next song that we're going to play by The Prodigy. Now, how did you end up? You sing the Alap in Smack My Bitch Up. So
yes.
how did that come about for you?
Okay, basically, at that time, I was actually I was signed to a small record company in London called Kedar Records, and we just released our first album called Destiny, and produced by Kuljit Bhamra. Very mediocre kind of a dance, it was soft Arabic kind of an album with Indian lyrics and songs. And anyway, then we get a call from Richard Russell of XL Recordings. And he basically said that Aki Nawaz of the Fundamental had mentioned about me, which was really quite sweet of him.
Sure.
And they had heard so much about me, because at that time I was doing a lot of festivals in London, and I was the queen in terms of, you know,
nice to be the queen,
well, you know, kind of a little way, just, you know, kind of performing a lot of festivals there. And so they had heard me singing, you know, my sort of tracks and everything. And then he basically said, you know, Shahin, we've heard so much about you. Would you be interested to send us a demo?
Sure.
You know, because the Prodigy are looking, obviously, for an artist to feature on their track. And at that time, the track wasn't called Smack My Bitch Up.
What was it called?
It was called Change My Pitch Up. So anyway, they sent me a demo, and I said, yeah, sure. And I didn't know who the Prodigy were at that time, because I was listening to all different genres of music, etc. And I put the track together, a demo that I had worked on, and sent it across to Richard Russell. He passed it on to Liam, and Liam obviously heard my voice, and he absolutely fell in love with it, etc. You know, I don't know what it was, you know, personally said to each other, but as far as I know. And and then I was called over to the studio, and they said, you know, we really love your voice, Shahin. And but before that as well, Malini, they sent me a demo, obviously, of Change My Pitch Up. And then they had an idea of a certain chant, etc., how they wanted to work. And then I basically said to Liam, look, I'm going to work on a chant. And if you like it, you keep it. If you don't, then you kind of scrap it. And but obviously I went with that idea into the studio at Strong Rooms in London, and I recorded the chant. And I remember Keith sitting on the opposite side with his spiky hair and looking gorgeous, and Liam looking gorgeous. And it was fantastic, and they loved it. As soon as I went into the booth, it was a very small booth, it was just like kind of, you know, quite small booth, and they fell in love with it straight away. And
it's so nice to have eye candy inspiration. So I'm going to ask you to sing just a little bit of that Alap.
Oh, just a tiny bit.
Just a tiny bit,
okay.
Please.
I get forced into doing this. Okay, I don't think I'll have the chest to go kind of, you know, do it in a very on the high notes right now. But
that's fine.
Here we go. Yeah.
There you go, for you right here on 94.3 Radio 1. And stay tuned, because we've got a whole lot more Shahin Badar lined up right after this.